Hey y'all, it is Taylor Bridges here with another review of Real Housewives of Atlanta. This is season 15, episode 16. The episode is titled Art Imitates Life. This was a great episode. Finally, Drew and Ralph carried the whole episode, and Allison was a great addition to the mix. Drew should have definitely brought her sister on to handle Ralph's behind. Since season 1, we needed Allison on here to handle Ralph. We start the episode with all of these montages of everyone. No one's worried about Candy and Todd inviting all these people to the premiere, or even what beautiful baby Brooklyn wants to do with her hair. We are all trying to get to the T on Drew and Ralph. And literally everything else for the episode was boring if it didn't involve those two. Marlo shows up to Sonya's OB-GYN, except for Sonya's situation. Marlo shows up to Sonya's OB-GYN appointment to support. And honestly, Marlo has actually been quite tolerable these last several episodes, which I'm kind of digging. You know, she's ending the season with a pleasant taste in my mouth. But let's see what the reunion gives, because Marlo will take it very far. But I have been liking her, you know, as of late, and it's worth noting because I definitely despised her in the beginning of the season and the middle, like all the way up until literally a couple episodes ago. Dr. Jackie tells Sonya to not involve Deuce, the baby boy, their son, Sonya and Ross's son, not to involve him too much in the pregnancy because it's so early on. But Sonya says at that point they already shared so much. Obviously, those of us who've seen the episode, we know that ends up actually playing a factor in things. Sonya being so expressive to Deuce about it because he is a child and maybe can't comprehend all that is going on. But we'll get more into that later. Drew and Ralph are chilling, talking. It's the same day as the wrap party for the movie that Drew acted in for Todd and Candy. And Ralph is in there expressing how tired he is because he's been actually working, while Drew has just been shooting her little movie doing sex scenes. So he's tired because he's been doing real work, just completely diminishing Drew's craft, as if first of all, the family hasn't benefited from it. And you know what I mean? And as if this hasn't been her career for decades. She got in at 3 a.m. and she's still having to be the one to take the kids to school when your black behind has been in the bed. In your own bed at that. That you don't even let the kids come into. Like, how trifling can Ralph continue to get? And he's enjoying sleeping in separate rooms at the moment. And he says he'll be back into his marital bed once things settle down. Not when filming wraps. Because that's what he's saying is his initial reason for moving out of the bedroom. Because Drew's filming schedule wakes him up in the middle of the night. So he solves the problem by sleeping in another room. But filming, according to, I think Candy said, it was only 10 days. Not even 2 weeks. So, and we're going to see this episode. Ralph is just going to continue to push the goalposts back. His reasons are just going to continue to, he's always just going to have a reason. Drew brings up to Ralph the beef with Courtney, where apparently Courtney called Drew a bitch. And Ralph suggests that, you know, well, hey, all y'all call each other that, you know, and so what's the big deal? Right, he does have a point on that, absolutely. Drew, I don't know what it is with Drew trying to get Ralph to like go against the ladies. Like every time she's involved in a beef with the ladies, she looks crazy trying to convince her husband, who she technically should not have to be, you know, trying to convince. Pardon me, the sunlight is so much. Whom she should not have to be trying to convince. She's having to always convince him to see her side and be on her side, because Ralph is consistently either defending the other ladies or trying to see the other ladies' perspective. And all that is fine to do behind closed doors, not on camera. But on camera, you need to have your wife's back. But it's like he literally was refusing to have her back. Like, you're doing the most trying to argue against Drew, and try to defend these other ladies. And boy, bye. She don't rock with them. You don't rock with them. It's really that simple. It's really nothing else to it. Like, and then like he's laughing and playing stupid and being intentionally misunderstand. Like he's intentionally misunderstanding. And all the lady want is for him to have her back. He's laughing. And Drew is just like, this so-called cousin is speaking about me in a negative manner. And I'm not rocking with her. So you not rocking with her. Like, Ralph is garbage. Drew gets fed up and ends up rushing downstairs. Her sister's down there, and they continue on with the discussion because I think Drew's trying to get away from filming, but filming's not having it, so they are following her all around that house. But that's just Drew for you. Drew can't take intense conversations with as it pertains to the show, like in confessionals or when it's going back and forth with the ladies, and she definitely can't handle Ralph. Ralph gaslights. He takes no accountability. He does all these games, and I think Drew just like, she just is weak to it. Like, she just doesn't know how to go back and forth with him because it's no getting through to him. So she just like shuts down and just doesn't end up like sticking up for herself, which she needs to be doing. She needs to stick up for herself. Ralph brings Allison into the conversation by throwing in Drew's face, hey, even your sister's calling you a bitch before. And Allison is trying to make sense to Ralph, what's going on here? Because that's not the point, Ralph. That's not the point. But because Allison starts to make too much sense, Ralph can't handle it. He starts to interrupt Allison and he's telling her, I don't need your input. I don't need your input. You mentioned her into this. You want her input when she's going to agree with what you have to say. But when she's not agreeing with what you have to say and she's coming up with some valid points to consider, now all of a sudden you're not talking to her. This is between you and your wife, whom you won't listen to. Like that's really frustrating. Like I dated a guy like that back years back where it would be like the simplest things. And for me, it's just like, it's a simple fix done. But you like are so hell bent on like being difficult. So now we're arguing about something so stupid. It's not about people calling people bees. Drew's not rocking with her because whatever she called her, what Allison say, she could call her by her name. And if she don't want her to call her by her name, that's not how it's rocking today. And that's it. But so-and-so call you by your name. So I don't like her. That's that. I don't like this one calling me that. It's not that deep. It's really not that serious. So Ralph being difficult like this is just really freaking annoying. I would have lost it. I can't. Ralph just refused to see anyone's side in the disagreement. He overtalks. He doesn't listen to understand. He has not a lick of accountability. And his head is shaped weird. What do y'all find attractive about him? I never saw it, ever. Like, he is probably the ugliest man on this show ever. He has such a hideous soul. His soul. That dude is crazy. Like, I wouldn't even want to be in the same room as him at all, ever. Like, he's psycho. I am glad that Allison stood up for herself and her sister, and that's not probably. That is why Ralph didn't want Allison around. She sees through Ralph. She stands up for Ralph. Stands up to Ralph. She's not like Drew, cry and run away. Allison is going to handle Ralph to his face, in front of his face. Like, Ralph is really, 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 really a sick individual. Sheree is riding around with her daughter Tiara, and they're discussing Bob's daughter reveal at the Sip and See. Bob's grown daughter reveal at the Sip and See. And he revealed his daughter that had nothing to do with the Sip and See to begin with. Pretty much none of the event had anything to do with the baby to begin with. But it was a nice event. Tiara says that she already knew about the other daughter and assumes that Sheree knew too. And this is where this gets weird for me. I don't see how you I don't see how you, even if you did think your mom knew the information, I don't see how you don't mention that to your mom. That doesn't make sense. So I'm starting to think that this is like a scheme / storyline that Todd set up to come to us with the BS. That doesn't make sense. I don't see how none of Sheree's children mentioned this to her. That doesn't make sense. They're close to Sheree. There's no way nobody told Sheree. Cairo, Callie, Tiara. Any one more? Maybe not. I don't know. None of them. I don't believe it. But I do like how Sheree does seem fairly unbothered by the news. Like, she doesn't give off bitter or jealous vibes about it. Like, she's over it, which further proves my theory that she already knew. Okay. Kenya is at the house with Brooklyn and her father. And I think it's also odd that Kenya's dad hasn't met Brooklyn until 2023 because Brooklyn is 4 years old. Okay. Kenya is asking her dad about his opinion on kids. She's considering surrogacy, and I think that's definitely way less risky than carrying in her 50s. But I don't know if I believe this is a genuine storyline for Kenya. Kenya has just been flat out a snooze fest this whole season. She either needs to be replaced, which is probably not going to happen. And I love Miss Kenya. Black Barbie, I love Miss Kenya. She's been a snooze fest this season. So she either needs to be replaced or she needs an opposition to bounce off of. Because she's been quiet all season. Marlo was the only one who could get her to work. Kenya didn't even work for her own scenes. She had her performance for Homecoming or whatever for Kenya Moore Hair Care that she didn't do. She threw a cash trip that was poorly planned. You know what I mean? She hasn't even showed up for her own scenes. Only time she's shown up is when it's her and Brooklyn in a scene. And there's only so much of you and Brooklyn in your house that we want to see. That's not a storyline, Kenya. That's not a storyline. It's not. We're now in the archive with Marlo, and if I'm not mistaken, this is our first time seeing this space. I don't know why. Marlo she lists several different projects that her company has been hired to style for, and I'm really happy for her. Like, I don't know why they waited until the last episode of the season to show us this, but this is definitely something that I would have wanted to see. You know what I mean? Like, I want to see Marlo in action, like doing her thing. It's her business. Like, why wouldn't they advertise it? I don't know. I think the business, Scott Lee, and the boys, I think enough going on could have been a nice storyline. So I don't know why they didn't include the business more, or at least showed her on set, or I don't know, something. I also do like her interactions. Pardon me. I actually do like her interactions with Scott Lee. I talked cash money about them both when he first came on the show and how Marlo didn't like him and how they wouldn't last a second, but I stand corrected. I was wrong. I don't know if they're necessarily going to last the long haul. But I think they have a nice chemistry. Like, they actually seem to be into each other, like, as opposed to like Sheree and Martell. Scott Lee and Marlo actually seem to be into each other. And I like Marlo seeing someone into someone. Plus, Scott Lee is cool when he comes on camera. He has Marlo smiling. So, no complaints from me. I like Scott Lee so far. I honestly do. So, I hope they're still dating. And hopefully we can see more next season. Because I think they had a really cool interaction for this season. Honestly, Drew and Ralph are meeting with Dr. Ken for couples counseling. And like, as soon as I was already getting stressed before they started talking. Ralph is just so stressful to watch. Ralph is so stressful to watch. For real. Like, oh my God, he's impossible. I don't understand how on earth Drew was married to him for 7 years. No way. Oh my God. Why is my, there we go. The sun is just like, I guess a cloud is, moving in front of the sun, away from the sun, because the sun is doing its own thing over here. Ralph tells Dr. Ken that he's been making changes on himself, and one of those changes being the fact that he moved out of the bedroom. He's more comfortable, he's liberated, and he's happier with his living arrangement. Then Drew points out that even their children are noticing that they're living in separate bedrooms, right? And she even shows us, Dr. Ken and Ralph, the receipts of I think it was the oldest son, maybe one of the sons, bringing up how Ralph is sleeping in the other room. And Drew shows her response, which was full of comfort and reassurance that all will be back to normal once Drew finishes up with her movie. Ralph, with his 2 eyes that work, supposedly, allegedly, reads all of that, sees exactly what we see. The camera actually pans to Ralph reading the phone. So we saw ourselves that he is reading what's there. He reads all of that and still surmises that Drew is communicating about their sleeping arrangements in a negative way with the children, when he just saw what the messages said, that Drew was not speaking negatively about the sleeping arrangement to the children. It was really clear. But he heard what he wanted to hear. Ralph wants to be a single man without a wife, kids, and responsibilities. Now he's saying him leaving the room has made Drew more comfortable too, speaking for her. It's even made Drew more comfortable since she likes the room more warmer at night. So now he gets to have the room temperature on what he wants, and now Drew gets to have the temperature on what she wants. Everybody's happy. Ralph is a true weirdo. Give me Martell, Marceau, and Maurice from Love and Marriage Huntsville, please, over this guy. That's how much I can't stand Ralph. I can handle Martell, Marceau, and Maurice. Ralph, well, I ain't gonna lie, Ralph and Maurice are about neck and neck, honestly, when you think about it. Martell's not smart enough. He's no threat at all. We're at Candy and Todd's rap party for their movie, and the ladies are all there to support. Production made sure to show us backstage Drew and Ty, and it was definitely some tea to be like, what y'all doing? Okay. Allison was also there. Again, I need Allison back in the picture. Drew come back next season, which she is. Allison needs to come too, because Miss Ma'am has a personality, and that's who Drew should have been working on that record, working on her with her little EP record and all of that, instead of her hating ass husband. I'm also pleased that Drew and Sonya have been getting along this season. Pleasant surprise. I'm glad about that. Courtney tries to speak to Allison, but Allison's not having it. You know Allison a savage, because even Drew spoke to Courtney, and it's Drew's beef with Courtney. Allison still wasn't messing with Courtney though, and I respected it. But Courtney's still playing stupid, which is annoying. And it's pretty evident that Courtney and Ralph are indeed the same kind. Y'all definitely related. Y'all the same. Y'all of the same breed for sure. Some freaking weirdos. They ended up showing the preview of the movie, and Drew did great. I saw the movie for myself. I started it last night. I finished it up this morning. I fell asleep last night, so I finished it this morning. And Drew did a great job. She did a great job. She also performed her single at the a rap party. And she did a great job with that too. Like, that's what I like about Drew. She's really talented, like actually. And when she's hired for the job, she shows up and she gives her best efforts. Like a real entertainer. That's why she'll keep getting gigs and staying booked. The only time we've seen her drop the ball is for Cynthia's wedding, when she didn't show up to sing. The season wraps, but thanks to Drew and Ralph, we get this extended footage. And the extended footage was better than the entire season combined. That's sad. Marlo says the streets are saying that Ty, Mimi Foster's ex, is dating Drew. They're dating. And I'm with Marlo and Sheree. How could Drew be with a woman now when you were just having a scream off about how you never kissed a woman? When you've clearly done way more. Like, Manetta has the direct tea from Drew's lips about Ty being her crush and, pretty much like wanting to act on it and wanting to talk to Ty. Ain't no sense in asking Drew about it, because she's just gonna lie. In fact, ask her. Whatever she say, we notice the opposite. A quick fast forward to Sonya. It turns out she ended up having a miscarriage. That was a very emotional scene. I definitely cried. I definitely felt for Sonya, like so much. But thank God, she ended up getting pregnant again, and it's been a healthier journey. But that was very, very heavy and tough. Drew runs into Sheree in passing as Sheree is leaving her confessional filming for the show, and Drew is coming in to film hers. And both ladies at the moment are dealing with family issues from their father. Sheree had lost her dad like 2 days prior to this moment, and Drew's dad is in poor condition, and we now know that since he has passed. So, another heavy moment. Drew goes out to her confessional filming ready and immediately starts crying. Ralph is also doing his confessional to give his side of things. Pardon me. But of course, I'm not expecting Ralph to take it seriously. He takes everything as a joke, just like he did his marriage to Drew. Courtney is giving her take on what's going on with Drew and Ralph, and I have no idea why. Like, you're such a thirst bucket. It's really ridiculous. Like, get some business of your own and explain how you're attracted to your cousin. Because Courtney is being messy, saying that Drew wanted Ralph to adopt her eldest son so that she could go be with her gay lover, while Ralph paid the bills and if Drew isn't a working woman, who's been getting away, as if Drew isn't a working woman who's been getting a bag way longer than Ralph. Like, absolutely not. Hello? Yes, who's speaking? Okay, I'll call back. Pardon me. That's my dentist. Yeah, like Ralph. Courtney's saying that Ralph only got with. Courtney's saying that Drew wanted Ralph to adopt her son so that she could technically be with her gay lover and Ralph take care of the kids. As if Drew doesn't have her own coin, her own career, her own. Like, you're a pick-me and you're attracted to Ralph, which is why you keep caping for this stranger of a man who's shown to be garbage. Drew's still in her confessional and she's just not good at lying consistently. So the multiple questions back to back they're liable to trip her up. It's Drew. You know what I mean? So, she's stuttering when they ask her about Ty. Drew says that Ralph leaked the information about Drew and Ty to the press. I do believe Ralph would totally do something like that. But I also believe that whatever information he's spreading is about doggone true. So, we'll see. But that was the end of that episode and thus the end of the season. So now we have the reunion episodes. I don't know. I think it's 2 parts. I'm not sure, but we'll be reviewing those. And I'm thankful that you tuned in. Please like, comment, and subscribe to my video. And I'll have the next one out for you shortly after it comes out. All right, y'all. Bye.